The year is 1999. King Rool was close to escaping when his evacuation plan was foiled by K. Lumsey and crash landed on DK Isles, granting you the opportunity for the final battle against the big baddie himself. The last thing you had probably expected was a giant customized wrestling arena inside of the ship itself, which was all the more comedic and very fitting given the nature of DK64 itself. This battle has always stood out to me all these years because it is a prime example of the underdogs, in this case the Kongs, against all odds, the Kremlings. And it is very apparent that this whole match was heavily rigged in K. Rool's favor because he has lost several times, but the referees choose to turn multiple blind eyes in fear of getting fired by the boss. Now, as for the main event itself, I love how it captures the rare word charm by having the host be a sentient microphone wearing a tuxedo, sporting an impressive mustache. I always found that amusing. The fight consists of all 5 playable Kongs partaking in multiple rounds, each that heavily utilize their special abilities to attack K. Rool little by little. In the case of Donkey Kong, you had to use the floating barrel cannons that you've been using throughout the entire game and blast his face while he's busy gloating his kingly status. It's funny that his hubris was his downfall. This process repeats until you use all 4 cannons while avoiding his ground pound tidal waves. What I appreciate about this fight is that from the very beginning of the game, you had to tag team between Kongs to collect certain collectibles, and the final battle is no different since each Kong is used to their fullest extent with no one being left behind. Diddy uses the iconic jetpack ability to fly across the ring and fire at the giant spotlights overhead to obscure K. Rool's vision. Repeat this 3 more times and the sequence is over for Diddy. I'm pretty sure this is against regulations, but anything goes in this crazy event. I love how this fight doesn't take itself serious in the slightest because there are so many goofy cutscenes and antics that perfectly illustrates DK64's charm. Next up is Lanky Kong, who has to use his signature lanky long arms to press the number switches from afar to summon giant banana peels for K. Rool, who still has a spotlight over his head, to slip over and lure him by playing your trombone. True to Lanky's personality, this sequence was so goofy I love it. Not only did Rare keep the fight fresh by avoiding having the player do the same exact thing over and over in the entire match, but made it comedic and entertaining, while encouraging the player to remember everything they learned throughout the game. Sort of like a final exam for a test after studying, the Kremlings finally remove the spotlight from K. Rool's head, and the match moves on to Tiny Kong. Now, if you notice K. Rool's shoe, you notice that it has a giant gaping hole. The game cleverly makes use of this innocuous detail and has Tiny shrink to attack his toes with a feather bow. This works on so many levels because it shows that K. Rool is a slob who doesn't care for his clothes properly and acts as an opportunity to use Tiny's special shrinking ability perfectly. This process repeats until all 4 toes turn red. Moving on to the final Kong, Chunky, K. Rool manages to turn invisible, and your job is to turn invisible as well in order to see him and then transform into a giant to land multiple hooks across his scaly face as he charges to you. I like how this section makes use of both of Chunky's unique abilities and tests your timing to catch K. Rool off guard while punching. After landing the final blow, K. Rool remains tenacious and doesn't give up, only to be stopped by Candy and Funky Kong, who deliver the true final blow and concludes the final battle with more wacky shenanigans as K. Rool gets his comeuppance for screwing with everyone. This is such a satisfying way to end the game and stays goofy the entire time while allowing the player to remember everything they learned to fight him. In short, this, in my opinion, is one of the most clever final boss fights and entertaining for the N64 for the reasons I have stated in the video. I sincerely hope they will work together with Microsoft to make a sequel to DK64 someday, but until then, thank you for watching. Did you enjoy the final boss fight too? And please like and subscribe for more videos like these if you want to.